All right, Max, excited to hear your story. And you're a CFE, so that means you are totally dialed into franchising. So start off by telling me your personal franchise story, not the business, you. How do you even fall into franchising?
So it's related to business. I've started a company called BooXkeeping about 12 years ago with my co-founder, and through trials and tribulations, we got into franchising market, and we started providing bookkeeping services to franchise brands. I started with one, then they liked us, they recommended us to other brands. To make the story short, we are now a preferred bookkeeping vendor for about 85 franchise brands in the United States. Some of them large ones, huge, Fast Sign, Signorama, Sport Clips, and so on and so forth. Some emerging. Majority of them makes it optional for franchisees to use us, but growing number is making it mandatory. So they have to use BooXkeeping to do the books. And then hanging out with franchisors gave me this crazy idea that I can be one of them. And then a few years ago, I decided to franchise the concept. And now here we are. We have 5 franchisees and working on number 6 and number 7 right now.
So on the franchisee standpoint, are they required to be a CPA, or do you want them to have an accounting background, or who's the avatar?
So they don't have to be CPA because we don't do anything that has to do with taxes. We get majority of referrals from CPAs, so we don't want to be a competition to them. Mm-hmm. It's a different model that majority of accounting franchises that are available, because they do taxes, and oh, by the way, we can do bookkeeping as well. So just to give you an idea, H&R Block just recently added bookkeeping to their model. They've never offered it before. So we staying away from taxes. And if one thing I can promise, we will not go into taxes, because I see more possibilities in just staying in our own sandbox, which is bookkeeping. So they don't have to be CPAs. I would want them to have some kind of accounting background or finance background. They don't have to be bookkeepers, because A, we are fully trained them, and B, if they like, we provide them full staff to do the work. So they can be just the rainmakers going and just get clients.
Yeah, build the relationships in there.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a finance person by trade. I'm not an accountant. I can talk about bookkeeping and accounting for hours, but trust me, Nick, you don't want me to do your bookkeeping.
Love it. Okay, so now that you mentioned I'm a finance guy, what are some of the interesting things that you see from a data standpoint? Because when you're doing the books across so many different businesses for franchisees, are they not spending enough in certain categories like marketing? Are they overspending or over recognizing things in areas that they shouldn't? Are there any insights that you see just from a pure gut standpoint now that you know franchising the way that you do?
So I'm just seeing across the board that people are scared, and they may be not investing as much in advertising and marketing as they used to, because the money, and not necessarily tight, but the mentality is, hey, what if it will be worse? What if I need this money? So I better sit and not spend, and don't run the advertisement as much as I did. So I'm seeing that for sure. But I'm not seeing, slowdown, to be honest with you. So majority of our clients are growing or staying the same. I mean, of course, there are some people that, the numbers are dropping, but I don't think it has anything to do with the economy. This is just individual, choices. What I can see from the Zor standpoint, I see more and more franchises to be sold. And then I've heard that long time ago that during the slowdown, people usually buy more franchises historically. So that I definitely can see, because we get more and more clients onboarding with BooXkeeping on the bookkeeping side.
So what's your dream on the as a franchisor? What's your dream on that side of the business?
On the franchisor side, so the goal is to sell 5 more before the end of the year, and then we are looking to sell 10 to 15 next year. So to get it to about 25 before the end of 2024. So this is a home-based business. It's a low investment business. That's why right now we get more and more interest. It's kind of a blue ocean. So this is the issue I had to deal with. People are not expecting bookkeeping franchise. So when you come, like I've done some franchise expos, you come in and then people looking for pizza franchise,
Yeah, right.
looking for, and then they stop by like, oh, bookkeeping, and we didn't even know it exists. We didn't know it can be, really, franchise. So now more and more people are interested. I see more and more, interest in the franchise. But I think once we get to critical mass of 15 or 20, we'll grow, because now we're like in very big markets like Miami, Orlando. We're in San Diego. We just sold Texas, but it's a county, but it's the South County, the most southern county in Texas, McAllen, Texas. So.
Mm-hmm. How are you breaking out the territory size as a home based?
So we are guaranteeing people 500,000 population. That's their territory.
Mm-hmm.
But anything outside of it obviously can be sold to a different person.
Yeah.
So to give you an idea, like we just sold, not just about 4 or 5 months ago, BooXkeeping Miami. So the city of Miami and Miami Beach is taking, but all the North Miami is available. So if somebody wants to buy in Fort Lauderdale or just outside of the city of Miami, they can do that. But the beautiful part about it, let's say you own Miami territory. If you have a cousin who lives in Boston, you can get all the referrals you like from this person. So you go where the business is. You can't actively go and advertise in Boston, but you can go and get clients from there. So they're not just limited to their territory. It's not brick and mortar. I mean, I have some of my franchisees, they are traveling abroad and do all the work from there. So you don't have to physically be in this territory.
So on a franchise, how much you can make question, are you disclosing item 19 yet, or is it still too early?
We are disclosing item 19 in terms of average gross profit for the past 10 years and average gross revenue. So the average gross revenue is $424,000 per year, and average gross profit is $257,000.
I mean, that's a great number for investment that's small, which I would imagine your hope is take the Miami franchise owner. They should be looking at scaling based on the depth of the business opportunity, right?
Absolutely. I mean, people don't realize, but bookkeeping is a $4.2 billion industry in the United States. So annual, and that's huge. So everybody needs bookkeeping. And what I'm seeing on the corporate side, more and more people are interested in bookkeeping services with the slowdown, because like, well, why do I need a full-time person? Because he or she is not really doing bookkeeping 8 hours per day, So what are they doing is a big question. So we just took over a company and we are going to be spending about 10 hours per week. We replaced their full-time person. And then the CEO goes, what was she doing for the past 6 years? And I'm like, well, I have no idea. But, she was working there 40 hours.
Allegedly.
Yeah. But really it's 10 hours. And I think we can shorten that, because I am amazed people still using the technology or not using the technologies. People still doing a lot of stuff manually.
All right. So you've clearly accomplished a lot. And even if you just stayed as a franchise supplier the entire time and never went into franchising, you accomplished a lot. Do you feel like you get a moment to pinch yourself and say, this is amazing where this business has gone from where you've started? Or what equals happiness for you now?
Well, I learned not to be happy with the end goal, but be happy in the process. Because, let's say I put a goal of X and I get there, then what? Like right now I have a goal of selling 25 franchises by the end of next year. I'll sell 25. Is that it? Am I going to just stop and do nothing? No, I'll have another goal. And I can tell you that my 25 will change to 40 or 50, probably even before I sell the 25. So it's a moving target. So it's a process. So the way I live life, and it's not only business, it's personal as well. I want to enjoy it today. I like the process. I'm comparing myself not to my goal that always moving, but I'm comparing myself to where I was before. And so 2 years ago, I had 0 franchises. Now I have 5. So I think it's a great accomplishment. I mean, if I start comparing myself to McDonald's, a number of franchisees they have, then I'm definitely a failure. But I'm not doing that because it's completely different story. Again, this is my life. I'm not comparing with anybody else. I have a great team, and they're supporting me. We're growing. It's a healthy growth. So um, I think I'll be happy when I'll start working a little bit less. So when I start delegating more, and I'm getting more and more, you know, structured about that, delegating, especially on the corporate side. Now I have a great team that takes care of everything. On the franchise side, since it's brand new, I don't have that much support. So
Yeah.
once I'm there, that's going to definitely make me happier.
Yeah, unless you find another business idea that you want to add in, right?
Oh, I'm sure I will. I'm sure. We actually created our own accounting software, and it's sitting dormant for the past 2 or 3 years because we just don't have the power to push it. Like, it's there, website is there, everything is there, the business model, but we just need another max to
Yeah, right.
get it done. And I'm like, there is only one of me, so I pick my battles. And for now, franchising is what I want to concentrate on.
You know what's fascinating to me about your numbers, low investment, great return, yet you're categorized as a bookkeeping business. Now, what I would love to have this happen in franchising. If you stripped away all brands, all logos, all titles, and said, let's start with the viability of the business model, and you landed everything together, pizza concepts, for instance, that do $800,000 that are open 24/7, basically, because there's around the clock work or labor that goes against it. A franchisee is going to make 80 grand or 90 grand on $800,000 in volume and the depth of work that goes into operating one unit. And so in a pizza brand, someone might say, boy, I've always wanted to be a pizza owner. But at the same time, for a different scale of work and maybe the higher opportunity to scale, they could also do your business and could make more money and be in a more viable category. And I mean, even you're just talking about the accounting software, be associated with a franchisor that is deeply committed to innovation. And so I'm always fascinated by this. When you start stripping down, like, what is the definition of a great business model? You have one. But you're almost stereotyped automatically as not as sexy as a pizza brand, even though you are much more viable than the example that I gave.
So you're totally right, and actually, our logo and our motto is bookkeeping redefined. So we're definitely redefining the bookkeeping process and making it fun and cool. It's one of the oldest professions, but in people's eyes, it's just the old accountant sitting in a dark office, working 20 hours. It doesn't have to be like that. Now, AI and technology is doing majority of the work, and people who don't accept it, they're going to be left behind, because right now I'm seeing in the past 12 years it takes us less time to do work than we did than it took 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So now, instead of just keep doing it the old way, we just more aggressive on pricing. It takes us less time, and we can serve more clients. And our hashtag is cool bin counters, so it's a big part of our culture. We make sure that the employees are cool, the clients are cool, and a lot of the time we say no to potential clients because we don't want to work with somebody who is not fitting our profile. Like, we're not a good fit for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right, three comments that I have for you that I've thought through during this discussion. One is, I think a CPA is a very interesting target from a franchisee standpoint because of your cost to get in and how much I can make is so sound. CPA is intelligent. They look at businesses all day long. They can see that you're a viable business. So it's not hard for them to see what is the opportunity with this and how can you latch this on. So I do think there are smart individuals that would like that. Secondly, area of opportunity for you, the way that I see it, I think you have a really good story. I think your depth, I think how long you've been in this industry, I think the steps that you've taken to go from supplier to franchisor, I think onboarding 5 franchisees the right way and saying, we don't need to grow like crazy, let's grow the right way. All of that is so good, but your personal brand is missing from this. And I would lift up your franchisees too. You have 5 people that said, yeah, I believe in what Max is doing. I want in. And so I say this all the time, that brands don't sell brands, people do. I would love to see more humans on your site. And the last comment is, when I was preparing for this, all of your photos online, you're not smiling. And you have such a good, warm story. You need to smile more, man.
Well, it's just, I'm originally from the former Soviet Union, so I guess we weren't brought up, smiling. So that's, people tell me all the time. People tell me this all the time. I'm working on it. I can't just put this fake, I call it fake American smile. I mean, I'm an American now, so I'm one of us. But that I know. So I need to start.
You got a good personality. I want to see it come out. So that's my feedback for you. Okay, so let's end on this. Someone's around the web. They've landed onto this video. What do you want them to know about your business as a franchisor or as a potential prospect?
So I probably, as a franchisor, I want them to know that they get not only full training, 2 weeks training, they get 6 months of sales coaching with the live sales trainer for the 6 months after the initial training, and they get 1 year of executive coaching. So they get 1 year of bi-weekly meetings with somebody who is working on making their performance to be on the top and grow all the time. So usually, people pay $5,000-$6,000 for consulting like that because it's done by the co-founder of BooXkeeping, Elena Emma. She is doing it at no charge to all our employees and our franchisees. So it's actually, an advantage because we want them to succeed, because them being successful means us being successful. We do all the marketing for them. We provide all the technology. And then lastly, we provide employees if they want to. We house the employees, we pay the benefits. They just pay us hourly and, can concentrate on growing the business. And we provide clients as well, because the 85 franchise brands that we are a preferred vendor for, let's say a new Signorama opens in Miami area and Signorama is the client, then immediately we are being notified, and then in turn we notify our franchisee. They can call the day they sign the franchise agreement, before the competition even knows, they're opening up, before they even pick a location where they're located. So it's like a really full service, just finding the right people. So I agree with you. CPAs is one of the markets that we're going after, and we're talking to a couple of firms right now who are considering buying it and then outsourcing all the work to themselves. Because once we give them a client for bookkeeping, they actually can go and then sign them for taxes, consulting, CFO work, and guess what? They keep 100% of the revenue. We only get royalties on a bookkeeping piece.
I want to just call back out what you just said, because I think it's deeply important. I love what you said. You said, if we make our franchisees successful, we're successful. And knowing that means it's not just about selling franchises, it's about finding a way to drive profitability for your franchisees. And then what I also love is just how you're onboarding the franchisee with coaching. So many franchisors skip over that, but you're giving them sales training because they may have not sold before. You're giving them executive coaching because they could use that. They could use a shoulder. And I think that actually redefines the way that franchisee support should work, and probably redefines the way that a franchise business coach should work. And I applaud you for that. I think that's awesome. So Max, this was a great conversation. I'm glad we got to get it in. I look forward to learning more about your story and building a relationship. Thank you so much for joining me on this. This is another episode of Meet the Zor. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.